Hello everyone. As you can see, this particular video has to do about clocks. Now I need to put a clock back into the yellow 74, and I've taken all of these apart and learning about the functions of the inside. But I decided, rather than use up valuable time to get these working again, or at least get one of them working properly, I decided to use a quartz replacement clock for the 74 that I had on the shelf. So this will be a video in the future in different parts of getting these back together. Stay tuned. Here we have the quartz replacement. Now this is not a full clock, this is just a replacement that you put into your current housing, and then you assemble with your parts, as you can see laid out on the table. That way it's a little less expensive if you purchase it and get you up and running. What I am going to do is assemble this. As you can see over here, this has a grounding strap basically on the inside, which will replace this grounding, which you won't need anymore. It's put together a little bit different with the internals, and I'll explain that further in the regular clocks. So I'm going to just put this in, and as you can see, you have the hole for where the stem goes, and you want to make sure you get it centered. And sometimes they don't go exactly the way they're supposed to. But there we go. Alright, so you're centered. Okay. And then you have little tabs over here that have to be pressed in. So I'm not going to keep the camera rolling the whole time, so it's going to be on and off. That way you'll get the idea after I do each step. Okay, as you can see, I have the clock internals installed into the housing. And what you need to do is there's a tab over here and one on this side that has to be bent down. And then there's two indentations in the side, and what that does obviously is keep the clock from moving around as far as the internals go. So it's really secure. I'll go over these tabs a little bit more, but you get the idea. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the clock face. Okay, and that is relatively easy to do. What you do is put it on. It has to go through these little indentations, and again you have to bend the tabs so the face will stay put. Be right back. Okay, the clock face is now installed, and as you can see, you just make sure that these, I'll call them, well, not tabs, but maybe tabs, are flush with the plate. And then the little extension of the tab, which is back here, let's see if we can get a good shot of that, has to be bent down. And there's 3 locations there, and there's also one there. And once you have that in place, it's really not going anywhere. Next, I will install the needles for the clock to tell the time and for the seconds, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, what I've done now is I installed the first and second hand of the clock And then what I like to do is test it to make sure that they're working. So I put the knob and the screw to hold it in place. And you pull up, and as you can see, everything seems to be working. And as you turn it, it's pretty much on. I might have to make one little adjustment with the needle, and I'll check that out. Okay, it's a learning experience for me also. So what I did again was I adjusted the needle the second hand, and let's see if we can do this. And as you can see, coming up to 3 o'clock, and we are looking good. So there we go. So that's adjusted pretty much. And now we need to put on the second hand. Okay, I just wanted to bring this to your attention that the first and second hand just press on by your own hand, okay? And they kind of fit in the slot, the stem coming out of the center there. And the second hand, as you can see, will just press in. So just line it up anywhere, and you press it in, and it should go right down, and that's it. And there's your clock ready to go. Okay, I have it all back together. Of course, I want to test it out to make sure that it's working properly. I have my compact power pack, and we're going to see what happens. Here we go. Oh, timed out. Hold on. There we go. All right, the clock is working, so we are in good shape. So at least we know once it gets installed and gets back into the car, it's going to be working clock. Okay, now that the clock is fully tested, what we have to do, obviously, to install is to take this knob off again, and then when we put it into the housing, we will connect up everything so it'll be able to hook up to the wire.